In this video, I will show you how to make the round system you currently see on your screen. To keep this tutorial as simple and easy to understand as possible, we will focus strictly on the core mechanics of the round system: the timer, teleportation, giving items, and clearing player inventories. I purposely skipped scenarios, such as what happens if a player leaves mid-round or drops an item on the arena. I wanted to keep this script as straightforward as possible to highlight and explain the most essential elements of a round system, allowing you to fully grasp the concepts without any unnecessary distractions. Focusing on the core round system first is, in my opinion, the best way to learn and understand the fundamentals. We can always cover those cases, such as what happens if a player drops an item on the arena, in a future video. First things first, if we want to script a round system, we need to think about what exactly we need. As you can see on this graphic, we want to set up an intermission timer that counts down. The moment it hits 0, the game will teleport players from the lobby onto the game map. Once there, each player should receive a starter item. This system also requires a second timer to track the actual game duration. When that second timer hits 0, the round ends, everyone is teleported back to the lobby, and their items are cleared from their inventory. After that, the intermission timer should start counting down again, and the whole process repeats. Alright, now that we've covered how everything works, we can finally jump into the code. To start off, I am creating a server script inside script service named Simpler Round System. To implement the core mechanics of our round system, I'll be using a while loop for this scripting tutorial. Inside our while loop, you can see that I've mapped out all the steps we discussed earlier in the graphic. To set up our intermission timer, we are going to use a numeric for loop. Let's break down how this specific loop works, as it takes 3 important numbers. The initial value of our variable I represents our intermission duration in seconds. This tells the loop when to stop, which is at 0. A value of -1 means it will decrement or subtract 1 from I on every single iteration. In short, this loop counts down step by step from 10 to 0. Now, to display the remaining time so we can see it, we will use a print statement to output the time to our console. Finally, to ensure the countdown happens in real time, we must include wait. This forces the script to pause for exactly 1 second on every loop iteration, creating steady countdown before the players get teleported to the arena. To make sure every player can see the remaining time before a round starts, or how much time is left before they get teleported back to the lobby, you can create a GUI, just like the one you see here at the top of the screen. This GUI is located inside Player GUI, and inside the GUI object, we have a UI label which displays the text on the screen. In this case, we want the text to show our intermission countdown. To do this, we need to reference the text label in our script and update its property so that it displays the changing value of our variable I. We can also write the word intermission as a string right before our variable I. This way, players will see a clean label on their screen, letting them know exactly how much time is left. The next step is to write the code for teleporting players from the lobby to the arena once the intermission timer hits 0. When players arrive at the arena, each of them should receive a starter item. As you can see, I've created a lobby with spawn parts for this tutorial. These parts are necessary because when the round ends, we will use them as destination coordinates to teleport players back to the lobby. Over on the right side, I have a sample game map where the players will be sent. Just like in the lobby, I've placed teleport parts across the arena, which serve the exact same purpose. Inside Server Hidden, I've added 2 items, an axe and a pickaxe. I will use these to show you how to give a player a starter item when they teleport to the arena, and later how to remove those items from their inventory when they get sent back to the lobby, even if they are holding them in their hands. Alright, now that we know where everything is located and what our sample game looks like, we can code the next step, teleporting players to the arena and giving them a starting item. First, we need to grab a list of all the players currently in the game. Next, we need to initialize our target teleportation part. Once that's set up, we will use a generic for loop to go through every single player saved in our players variable. Inside this loop, we set each player's position to match the coordinates of our teleportation part. After teleporting them to the arena, we want to give them their starter item. To make this possible, we reference our starter tool, in this case the axe, and use the clone function. This is an incredibly important step. If we don't clone the item and try to give it to a player directly, the script will move the exact axe asset out of server hidden. On the very next iteration of the loop, your script will crash with an error because the original axe no longer exists in storage to give to the next player. By using clone, we create a brand new copy of the axe for every single person. To give the player the axe, simply set the parent of cloned axe to player.inventory. Just like that, all players will be teleported into the arena with an axe ready to go. After running a test game, you can see that everything works perfectly. Players are teleported to the game map the moment the intermission timer hits 0, and every single player receives their starter item. Now, the last things we have left to do are setting up the round timer, teleporting players back to the lobby, and clearing their inventories. To handle the round timer, we can simply copy and paste the for loop we used for the intermission. We just need to change the duration, for example, changing the countdown from 30 to 60. We will also change the text string from intermission to round ends in. We can do the same exact thing for teleporting players back to the lobby. We copy our player teleportation loop, but change the target destination from the arena's teleport part to our spawn part located inside the lobby. We also update the name inside the loop from teleportation part to spawn part. The final task is clearing the player's inventories, which requires a little extra care. We need to check if the item we gave them is either inside their inventory or inside their character model. When a player actively holds an item in their hands, the game moves that tool out of their inventory folder and places it directly into their character model. To safely remove it, we use findChild to check both locations. To check if the tool is inside the player's inventory and remove it, we write player.inventory and call destroy function. Now, to check if the tool is inside the player's character model, we use just player, and to remove it, player.axe, and we call the destroy function. So, that's it. Finally, let's run a playtest, and as you can see, everything works perfectly. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.